Hello everybody, this is Albert with Green Tea House. I hope you're doing well today. Today we're going to talk about white tea and how some people just don't think it tastes like anything, and a nice charitable retort to that. Now before we begin, I highly recommend you check out our back catalog of episodes, and I'll make sure I put some that are germane to this one up here, like what exactly is white tea. So of course white tea is one of the 6 categories of tea. Some people might consider purple tea, which is kind of a new preparation of tea, as a 7th, but for classical definition, there's going to be 6 teas, and white tea is one of them. And so white tea, a common chorus that you might hear from tea drinkers is, I don't like white tea, it doesn't taste like anything. And so I'll have 2 retorts to that after we talk about the little prep on how white tea is made. So every tea from the 6 categories of tea come from, of course, the Camellia sinensis plant, either the variety of Camellia sinensis, the main one that's grown in China, or Camellia sinensis assamica, which is mostly grown closer to the equator, so in Sri Lanka, in India, Kenya, and those areas. Not to mention, but India does also grow Camellia sinensis. For example, Darjeeling is probably the most famous one that comes from India that is actually from Camellia sinensis. But either way, they all come from the same plant. It's just a question of how they're prepped. So with white tea in some ways is the most pristine of the 6 categories of tea. And the only rival to that would be green and yellow, which you can kind of put on either side of the spectrum, because oolong, black, and pu'er are very oxidized or fermented. With white tea is just plucked, depending on what variety or cultivar it is, but it's going to just be plucked, and normally it's the buds, like on silver needle. It's going to be plucked and then just left out in the sun. That's pretty much it, and that is it. So you talk about the most pristine of pristine, that's going to be white tea. It's going to be plucked, withered up in the sun, and then dried to make sure there's no moisture, and then packed to you. So white tea, because it's not kill-greened, like it sounds like in the name green teas, and because it's not going to be smothered like yellow tea is, and certainly it's not oxidized at all. It's slightly oxidized, as you say. It's because the sun does oxidize at about 5%. But because it doesn't go through the oxidation, the leaves don't go through oxidation, the taste profile of it is going to be very, very light. So it's understandable that when people drink white tea, they'll be like, this doesn't taste like anything. Well, my 2 retorts to you is this. 1, please do not be buying grocery store white tea, especially the ones that come in tea bags that advertise as white tea. Because you're getting the fannings, you're getting garbage tea. We've talked about before we have 2 or 3 videos here on why you shouldn't buy tea bag tea. You're just getting inferior product. So that in itself, if you're drinking tea bag tea, I'm not going to malign any well-known brands, but if you're drinking grocery store white tea, it's going to be garbage. So I'm not surprised you don't taste anything, because it's already an inferior product. Now, if you are drinking good quality white tea, this is my response to you with white tea. And we sell, as of recording this too, we sell white peony and silver needle, jasmine silver needle. So I have a picture here and I'll show you. This is silver needle. I love both. So white peony is going to come from leaves that are a little more mature, and therefore its taste profile is going to be a little different than silver needle. But silver needle comes from the bud. So it comes from the part of the plant that's growing, the little babies, so to speak. And when you look at silver needle, it's going to have a very unique look compared to other white teas and certainly green teas, oolongs, and whatnot. And a good silver needle is going to have this kind of fuzziness on it. And then you can see here, it's very thin, but when you put it in hot water, when you infuse it, it's going to open up. So again, it's the most pristine of teas. But because it hasn't oxidized, its taste is very, very delicate. And that's the adjective I would use for white tea. So going back to people who drink white tea and like, I don't taste anything. Well, look, if your life has been drinking a lot of black teas, certainly white tea isn't going to taste like a lot, because black tea is exceedingly robust. So if you're drinking a lot of Earl Greys or English blends or whatever it is, yeah, I mean, those pack a punch. Certainly if you don't drink it with milk and sugar, but it packs a punch. But even if you're drinking green tea does have a certain taste. So I would tell you, if you really want to get into white tea, drink a lot of it, drink good quality stuff. Our stuff's good quality, it's organic. Drink good quality stuff. And what you're going to be looking for kind of in the bouquet because it's like, tea's a lot like wine. Smell the bouquet, smell the lid, look at the leaves, but it's going to be very lightly floral. You're going to get a lot of kind of sometimes a peachy apricot kind of smell, sometimes a muscatel grape kind of smell, kind of like Darjeeling. You might get a little hay in there, but it's exceedingly delicate. And so you have to drink a lot of white tea to pick it up. But when you start drinking a lot of good quality white tea, you're going to start noticing that it definitely does have a taste. It's just really, really delicate. And that's why how like some people really gravitate toward the pu'er. They drink a lot of pu'er because of its unique taste. There are people who go the other way and drink a lot of yellows and whites because they have a very unique flavor profile, and then they fall in love with that profile. And there are a lot of people who love white tea because it is so light and delicate. And because it is so light and delicate, that you really have to develop your palate, for lack of a better word, for tea drinking to really appreciate white tea. And so if you really want to work up your tea muscles, so to speak, drink a lot of the white tea. And then once you start drinking the white tea, you'll be noticing these very delicate, subtle tastes. Then it like opens your mind. It's like the Matrix. It just opens your mind. You've taken the red pill. It's opened your mind, and you will love white tea. And that being said, in closing, not every tea is for everybody. Some people can't stand pu'er, or they don't like yellow, or they don't like green. So if you do drink a lot of white tea, as I said, give it a chance. Drink a lot of good quality white tea. And if you don't like it, all right, then drink green or yellow or whatever's next to it. And this is one of the reasons why Case and I, we sell jasmine, naturally jasmine infused silver needle, because we know that white tea is very delicate and some people find it hard to appreciate. So when it's naturally infused with jasmine, you can definitely pick up that jasmine aroma, and therefore it's more approachable to some people. Either way, guys, post in the comments. I'd like to hear from you. Until next time, take care and God bless.